All right, this should be going now, guys. Sorry for the delay. Clanwar starting. Gonna be starting in the game soon, so I'm gonna go into my casting. We're gonna fix our life cam. There we go. And we should be ready. So I got my trusty beer with me. And I'm absolutely starving, but hopefully we'll be all right. Also, if anyone wants to cast with me, feel free to pop on. We got a game here. TVT, Pond versus Crising. Pond versus Crising. I'm gonna turn the music on here and turn my chill music off. And it's starting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a Clanwar for you. Just gonna check everything's on the up and up down here. Yes, it is. Do I have... You know what? I think I'm going to leave it like this because then you guys can see the Drunken Outlaws logo, because this is a Drunken Outlaws Clanwar. This is a Drunken Outlaws Clanwar. And they are Exode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Danecast. This time we have the Clanwar between the Drunken Outlaws and Exode. This is going to be I believe a best of 5, and I don't know who won game 1 because I missed it because I was doing my stream. But this will be a little bit of an informal cast. Pure got it, so I'm guessing that's probably the enemy team. So we're gonna go. Yeah. Okay. All right, there we go. How do I do this? Control 0. There we go. All right, best of 5, 1-0 for Exode. Will be the score, and we've got a delightful TVT. We'll have to see how these players decide to open up. 1 gas so far from Pond. Looks like he's going to be looking to be a little bit more economic in his opener, while Crising is going for at this point, pretty standard 2 gas opening. Will make him safe against any kind of 3 racks Reaper play, which isn't going to really be relevant here because his opponent is going for a Reaper expand. And Crising is going to be looking to do some pressure early on with probably some Reapers and some Hellions. We'll see if he has anything else. Obviously, going for the double gas here gives you the potential to do so many other things. So you never really know what's going to happen. So this kind of looks pretty normal though, right? So he's getting the orbital command. He's going to be looking to drop his command center right down here. Meanwhile, 3 on each gas still for Crising. We'll have to see if he decides to take it off. A little scout from Pond comes in. Sees absolutely everything in this base. Another depot goes down, so it's not going to be any kind of wall off here for Crising. He's getting a little bit annoyed here by this SCV harassing the factory that's currently in the process of being building. He's started the factory and he hasn't taken any off gas, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty dedicated 1-base play from Crising in this particular game. Pond merely doesn't break a sweat. He goes for a factory of his own, gets a reactor, gets his Reaper out, and he knows that he just needs to play a little bit defensively here. He delayed the factory a decent amount from his opponent, so his factory is only a short way behind, but there is going to be a window of time where Pond could take some damage from his opponent. It really depends on how Crising handles it. He's going for a starport. He's getting all of the pieces he needs. He still has 3 in each gas. Getting another depot here, so it's not going to be a command center anytime soon. Looks like it's almost a 1-base all-in at this stage. He's making Reapers, he's making Hellions, and he is making a starport. So it's going to be very committed in units. Pond definitely taking the economic advantage in this game. No real big choices from Pond at this point. He's just going to be trying to hold on for dear life. I like that he's gone for a reactor on this factory. It's going to allow him to make 2 Hellions at a time, so that will help him to overwhelm his opponent when he is dedicating all of this pressure with Hellions and Reapers. So he's going to be able to catch up on the Hellion count. Might even have more Hellions when his opponent does move out. Crising finally deciding that he's going to take an expansion here, but now he's got this very heavy dedication into Reapers and Hellions, and since he didn't pull off of gas, he does have a medevac coming out, but it's going to be a little bit awkward for him as he's going to be attacking into Pond. When Pond's making 2 Hellions at a time, he might not get any damage done, which is going to put him really far behind in this game. He needs to get something done. Pawn with the scan, excellent time scan. It's going to actually spot the move out, going to spot the CC, and he's going to know everything that his opponent is doing, so we'll have to see how he decides to handle it. Looks like he's going to go for a Viking right away, which is going to help him stave off that medevac. But if you look at the army supply, Pawn actually has the bigger army supply despite going for the very fast command center. So that reactor now has allowed him to build up to 6 Hellions, and his opponent is only on 3, so he's dwarfing the Hellion numbers here, and that's really going to make the difference here. Even these Reapers aren't going to do a whole lot if his opponent is able to just set them on fire with the flame cannon of the Hellion. So Kreising's going to move in here. It's all going to come down to micro. Nice little concave from Pawn to begin with. He does have the medevac healing things up, but one of the Hellions is very low already from Kreising. Let's see if Pawn's able to capitalize on this. He does pull his workers, realizing this is a very dedicated one-base attack. As long as he keeps this alive, he should be absolutely fine. The Viking's going to start poking away at this medevac, and this is gonna completely chase this away. He has nothing that shoots up in this game. He is gonna try to go around, deke around, and he knows he needs to do some economic damage here. His command center only now finishing up. It's not an orbital command, so Pond is absolutely dwarfing him in economy, but it's very close in terms of the army supply. Pond is definitely ready for the main entrance, but is he ready for all these Reapers going into his main base? It looks like the answer might be no. The Reapers are already getting quite a few kills here, up to 4 kills. The Cyclone does pop in and pop off, but it's a little bit of a dangerous situation here. Now these equalize the worker count, 24 to 24, and the Hellions go in the natural expansion of Pond. They might get a few more kills here. With the medevac picking up, they're going to be making sure they stay alive rather than prioritizing that economic damage. But Pond does end up holding here. He still has a little bit of an advantage, but I think that was the damage that Kreising needed to get there. He got 7 worker kills, and now he's got an orbital of his own. He's got infrastructure. He's taking a 3rd base, and Pond actually nowhere near taking a 3rd base. Does have a Cloak Banshee on the way, but I'm not sure if Kreising knows about that, if he has spotted that or not. I don't think he ever actually got a chance to spot that, so he's not going to have any idea about this. And now Pond catching him out on the middle of the map is going to be a really nice pickoff. He knows that those Hellions aren't going to be able to come in and do any more damage. I think the great advantage here for Kreising is that he's got a good tank count already. He already has a tank, whereas Pond is only now just making his first tank because he's made a Cyclone first, and he's got 2 Ravens here. So these Ravens obviously going to be very, very helpful. 2 tanks, and this is going to completely shut down this aggression from Pond here. 2 tanks, 1 on the high ground. He's going to realize, nope, I'm out of there. Takes him a couple of tank hits, but does not actually go down. So now the Banshee is going to go in. He does have his cloak finished, but with 2 Ravens, I don't think it's going to be able to do too much damage. This Cyclone's on patrol, but he doesn't have a Raven with him. I think he's focused his attention on the front, so now Pond's going to go in, get a few kills with this Banshee, but there's no scan available just yet. The Cyclone frantically trying to get close to the Banshee in position for a lock-on, but so many workers have gone down. He's actually killed 7 workers. Now Pond up to 36 to 33 workers. Nothing happening on his side of the map. He does get cleaned up, but not before quite a few workers go down. 9 workers in total. It's going to leave Pond with a 37 to 33 worker lead, but there's another Banshee going into the natural expansion. He hasn't used his cloak just yet. I don't think it's going to make a difference considering there's 2 Ravens right here. He's going to have all the detection in the world. Splitting up, looks like he's a little bit insecure here, sending up his tanks up. I think they just have a bad path here to take. They need to go all the way around. That's going to be very annoying in this game, but the 3rd base is going to be able to resaturate this without too much problems. Let's see if Pond is taking a 3rd base of his own. Looks like he is. Going up to 3 more barracks, and he should be in a great position now to enter this mid game with a bit of an economic advantage, a little bit of an army advantage as well. No upgrades from Pond, just now finishing his double engineering bay, as his opponent has already finished but did not actually get a chance to start his engineering bay. So the one advantage that Kreising might have been able to hold on to during that exchange, he doesn't manage to get because he has not started his 1-1 upgrades before Pond. They start them almost simultaneously, but there's a big move up from Kreising. Going into the natural expansion of Pond, I don't see a big army from Pond. He's a little bit out of position here. He needs to make sure these tanks are sieged up before the enemy of tanks siege up into his natural expansion. Looks like it's going to be a heavy commitment from Kreising right off the bat. A few turrets are dropped. The SCVs are pulled on the tanks of his opponent, but so many auto turrets from Kreising are going to do a lot of damage here and even whittle down the last few tanks. All that's left for Kreising is these 2 tanks, and now Pond's economic lead is completely diminished. He's in a really, really rough spot right now. 2 tanks sieging up his natural. He's even got 3 Marines. He's even got 3 Ravens here. Not a lot of energy left on the Ravens, but I don't know how he's going to deal with these tanks in his natural expansion. He's lost all of his workers. His double upgrades are on the way, but I don't think that it's going to come into effect at any point. Pond still not with anything on his opponent's side of the map. Does bring all of his Hellions back to help deal with this. He does end up cleaning this up in the end, but will he lose this Banshee? Looks like he will. Only 2 Ravens left for his opponent, but a massive worker lead for Kreising going into this mid game. Really, really big attack there. Loses both of his Ravens here, but I think he's going to be happy about the way that that went down. Overall, though, Pond's still feeling like he's not in that bad of a position, considering he managed to land his 3rd command center during that attack, while Kreising is only now just landing his command center. So he's had the benefit of mining off of this base, even though he's not mining overall as much because he had to pull those workers. Obviously, it's a very, very rough situation in general for him. But an army supply lead going to Pond. He's got quite a few units out at this stage. He's managing to get his upgrades. He's managing to hopefully get an armory sometime soon. Yeah, his armory's a little bit late here. His opponent's being a little bit earlier, I think, is going to allow him to start that 2-2 just a little bit quicker, which is going to open up a tiny opportunity, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference. 2 tanks here are going to shut down this little Hellion run by. It's going to tell Pond the timing of this 3rd base, which is going to be nice for him, but he's still in a very rough spot right now, being down 11 workers in the mid game with no real options for aggression. I do like that Pond has taken this watchtower with the Hellion. It's going to give him an opportunity to reposition his army in maybe a better spot, because really the positioning on that first attack was what crushed him so hard. He didn't have his tanks siege up, and it allowed his opponent to just walk right into his natural expansion. Pond moving out now with a handful of Marines, 2 tanks, and a Raven. His opponent with a very large amount of Marines, 2 medevacs, no Ravens to speak of, so if Pond is able to get the disables, he might be okay. There is a drop going out for Pond, so he's going to want to not commit to this fight, allow that drop to do some damage. I'm not sure. Yeah, this isn't a spawning range for the opponent, so he should be absolutely fine. Kreising does have stim, though, and he's going to jump on Pond, realizing this is a great opportunity for him to do some damage. This is looking a little bit rough for Pond. 2 tanks do stay alive here, but with this drop on it from Kreising, he's going to be able to clean these tanks up basically for free. Really nice micro from Kreising there. Takes advantage of Pond being a little bit over eager with his move out here, but the drop from Pond in the natural is the wild card here. There's not really much in position. There is a few medevacs and Marines here, but he might be able to go in and equalize some of the SCV count here. 2 medevacs do fly back from Kreising, realizing he's got to deal with the crisis in his natural expansion. Quite a few workers go down. This is going to actually leave Pond with the economic advantage now. Very back and forth game between these 2 players. Pond does have his 2-2 upgrades on the way, as does his opponent. A little bit earlier than his, but with that drop, it's going to equalize the worker count. It's going to make things really nice for Pond to equalize things. I think that was what he needed overall. Yes, he did lose quite a lot of his army in the middle of the map, but he killed enough SCVs to make this work. Many turrets coming down at the natural here to make sure that doesn't happen again, realizing how delicate this is. He's got a 3-base economy. He doesn't need to be losing workers to a single medevac drop. Pond does not actually have any turrets of his own, though. Not actually bothering to invest in those. Not even a sensor tower. Pond focusing on his splitting and his army control to keep him safe against this. I don't think he spots this big move out from his opponent, though. His 3rd base is very vulnerable. Doesn't have a tank in position to defend this. Pond going for the Doom drop in the main base. I think this might be a very dangerous position to take, though. He needs to make sure he's paying attention. Does have the spotter Marine see the army move out here, but does Pond know about these turrets? I think his intuition's telling him they're not there because he didn't have turrets at the natural, but it looks like that will be the case. 1 medevac's going to potentially go down before anything even happens. Pond does get mostly everything dropped out here. It's going to be a pretty big drop. Meanwhile, there's a big counterattack of Kreising at the 3rd base of Pond. He needs to evacuate absolutely everything. 4 tanks here and a handful of Marines are going to be way more than Pond can handle at this point. Does have another tank coming out too. Could take the high ground with it. And yes, this drop is going to do a lot of damage, but now the medevacs have been cleaned up, and that's going to take the teeth out of this. A big Doom drop in the main from Kreising. It's going to siege up right on top of the production of Pond, and this is going to be a very difficult situation for Pond to deal with. As his drop gets cleaned up as well, he's going to GG, and the win is going to go to Kreising. What does the H in DOE stand for? It stands for Drunken Outlaws Harbor. Guys, what's the name of this clan we're playing, by the way? XVSTDO. So it's X. It's EX. Exode? Oh my god, guys, I'm so hungry. Need to eat some peanuts. You guys are gonna get to watch me join the other chat channel. Okay. You guys are gonna have to watch me eat these peanuts. Well, I have not eaten since lunchtime. I'm starving. Guys, if someone wants to send me a chicken dinner, that'd be great. I should have ended my stream an hour earlier, but I was having so much fun on the ladder. Let's update this. Exode. So we're doing this weird thing with these chat channels. I'm not sure what the deal is, but apparently only the players who are currently playing can be in the chat channel. Oh my god, that's so bright. Can you guys see how bright that is on my face? I'm going Super Saiyan, guys. Drunken Outlaw Honeys. It's Drunken Outlaw Harbor. Because there was originally a clan called the Drunken Outlaws. And then there were a bunch of people that left as a splinter cell. And they became the Drunken Outlaws Harbor. But that now they're gone. So we're here. Is this quality content, guys? Is this why you're here? Let's do that. It's probably better. I have to say, Christing played that really well. Although, considering his MMR. But I thought he was going to be really dead because Pawn was so far ahead. But you have a lot of time to get the damage done. Okay, I kind of have something in my belly now. This helps. I was already in that one, but then they said there was a new one. Why are they making new chat channels and then not using them? I'll never know, guys. I'll never know. What else does Dan have in his bag of treats? Gonna be mini cheddars. I just grabbed anything that I didn't have to cook because I had no time. All right, let's get started. Oh, you couldn't hear me, could you? All right, guys, we have... Oh, this is going to be a rough one to watch, okay? I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a rough one to watch. I don't know what MMR Fireplay is at, but Dune just cannon rushes. All right.
Game paused.
Uh-oh. Yeah, just because the caster said they're ready doesn't mean you can start, dude. You got to check both the players. This is a great opportunity for me to eat some more mini cheddars. Oh, shit.
Game resumed.
I had peanuts, dude. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the clan war between the Drunken Outlaws and Exode. We are currently down, I should say, 2-0 against, or 0-2 against Fireplay, who's on Team Exode. He is the Terran in the top left-hand corner of the map. He's in the red pieces. And Dune, his opponent, is in the bottom right-hand corner playing the Protoss in the blue. And he'll be playing for the Drunken Outlaws. Now, Dune is a notorious cannon rusher. He's actually a Zerg player, little known fact. He's actually primarily a Zerg player. But he plays Protoss and only cannon rushes. And he's the kind of player that likes to cannon rush with a smile on his face. He doesn't want you to be surprised by it. He wants to tell you that you're going to be cannon rushed. I don't think he told him in this game. But he does tell him in this game. Sorry, he doesn't tell him in this game. But he has another probe on the way. This is looking a little bit rough, though, because Fireplay is already pulling everything. He's already got that first probe down, and he's seeking this one out as well. I think he might have had a little bit of foreknowledge of what was going to happen here. So Dune is going to do his absolute best to get this up, but it's a little bit late at this point. But he does get the low ground wall off here. Nice little cancel from Dune is going to be able to get this out, but I think this probe is going to go down. And with it, his chances. This is really, really rough here. Has another probe on the way. This gateway is going up with a pylon, so this is going to give him a fighting chance here. But there's still no wall out from Fireplay. I don't think he expects this extra probe coming down, so he wants to make sure he gets finally this cannon up here. Does belligerently force this issue, But now there's a wall off from Fireplay, which is going to make things exponentially harder for Dune to get this cannon rush started. Obviously, cannon rush against Terran in general is already kind of a meme at this point. It's very, very difficult. They get a ranged unit and a bunker as soon as their barracks is finished. So that's basically at the same time as your forge. So that makes things very, very difficult. Even getting the cannon blocked here is going to be very, very frustrating for Dune here. Does have the cannon in range of this bunker. It needs to focus down this SCV building the bunker, but I don't think he's going to be able to before it finishes. A few kills on the cannon here. A zealot being chronoed out. Well, not chronoed, but a zealot being made by Dune is having the high ground vision here, but the cannon does finally drop, and now it's going to be a little bit of an awkward situation. Dune doesn't even have a cannon up. There's already a bunker with 3 Marines in it. A factory is on the way for Fireplay, and you can't help but think this is pretty much the end of the line for this play here. There is a zealot that's going to make its way up, but there's no cannon to even shoot the bunker. The zealot taking a lot of hull damage as well. Dune transitioning here, needs to start making a Stargate potentially. Does have his cybernetics core on the way, needs to take his second gas and start building towards Tempest, and he might be able to whittle away the Terran with a lot of Tempest and shield batteries. But as far as the cannon rush goes at this point, it's basically done now, right? The cannon rush part of this is over. There's never going to be cannons built in this Terran space. There's never even going to be high ground vision here, because as soon as the zealot pops up, it's going to die. So second gas does get taken by Dune. Doesn't even bother with warp gate, just needs to drop a Stargate as soon as he has the gas for it, which should be in about 3 seconds, 2 seconds, a few more. I counted wrong. There we go. He's gonna have a Stargate now. Boom. And now he's going to start working towards Tempest here. So this is a very Printef style of cannon rush. Does build a second gateway just to make sure he can make a few stalkers here or there. But there's already tanks on the way from Fireplay. He already has his starport finished, making a Viking. So before the Stargate is even halfway finished, there's already a Viking on the way to counter it. Fireplay enormously, ahead at this stage of the game. So this is looking really, really scary for Dune. I like that he's not quitting. I like that he's staying in it. You never know what can happen. If Fireplay makes a misstep, this still could be very good for him. But now the siege tank is going to be sieging up with that long range and the high ground. It's going to be able to shell this, and he needs to cancel repairing this cannon, because actually this is just going to drain all of his shield battery energy. This is the awkward part about doing this. When there is a push like this from the Terran, when they have the cannon, he can just pretty much shell whatever he wants, and it's going to drain the shield battery. Shield battery still has a fair amount because the cannon dies so quickly though, but the tank is just going to continue shelling everything on the low ground here. Dune doesn't have any expansion on the way, does build a fleet beacon back in his main base to make sure that he's able to do it in time, but doesn't even bother with the Void Ray, knows he needs to save his minerals as much as possible. But this army from Fireplay is looking pretty scary at this point. There are a few more defensive structures on the way, a Void Ray being chronoed out for Dune, but I think out of desperation at this point, he just does not have the resources, he doesn't have the timing of his tech that's ahead of the Terran player. So yes, the Terran is technically on one base, but one base Terran with faster tech than you is going to be very, very dangerous. Isn't even going to get this Void Ray out at this stage. Does get the pylon down there, and now there's nothing building for Dune. He's just pretty much stuck. Complete failure to launch here. Doesn't even have a cannon up. This battery could go down as well, and this is going to basically be the end of it for him. He's not going to ever get this Void Ray out. He does have another pylon, but he can basically just keep bopping these, and it's going to be a GG well played, and the game goes to Exode. Now, I believe this was a best of 5. No, apparently it's a best of 7, so there will be one more game. There will be one more game. And it's Dune again. Oh. Oh, you know what? Yeah, okay. So each player plays 2 maps? I don't understand. See, the problem with knowing that's coming as a Terran, it's just impossible. It's basically impossible. You never want to say something's impossible in StarCraft, but in this case, if the Terran is good, he knows it's coming. All right, now we're all ready. I'm not the player once again. God damn it. Chrising. Get it sorted, dude. Get it sorted. So it's a best of 7, and they're up 3-0, guys. Another game for Dune here. He's got a chance to come back. Can't believe that tank can hit the cannon, dude. That's a pog spot for the tank. As much as I love Dune, and I love the Drunken Outlaws, I just can't root for him when he's cannon rushing. You know what I'm saying? Hard. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back into our game here. We have the last game between these two players for sure. Could be the last game of the series, depending on if Dune is able to bring this one out. We have another game in the Clanwar between the Drunken Outlaws and Exode. Playing for the Drunken Outlaws in the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold, one of these great, beautiful new maps, we have the infamous Smiling Frenchman, Dune. And his opponent in the top right-hand corner, playing the Red Terran. He just bopped Dune out of that game, tried to get Cannon Rush, and did not manage it. It is Fireplay. Looks like Loblix is going to top out of the game, realizing that he's probably going to just cause problems by staying. He's lagging a little bit too much. Probe's already on the way for Dune. We'll have to see if he's able to get this started yet. I do respect Fireplay for not metagaming Dune in this particular matchup. He's not going anything crazy. He's not doing a super early wall off, but he needs to make sure he does not lose this probe this time. Almost loses a mineral pathing all the way through. A big SCV pull from Fireplay is going to mean that this pylon potentially gets killed before he's able to do anything else. Dune has to be very careful with this probe. He lost him last time. He needs to make sure he keeps him up. He really, really would like to have this high ground vision here. Doesn't even get the cannon up before it goes down. Really aggressive pylon placement here from Dune, even going into behind the mineral line. Mineral paths right through and manages to keep the probe alive for the most part, but now the probe is gone, so these pylons are basically moot points at this stage. He's not going to be able to get back in. There's a full wall off from Fireplay. He's going to keep this cannon rush going. Has the pylon on the low ground. Is going to be able to start a cannon down here. This is about further than he got in the first game, though. Does cancel the pylons in the main base. Starts a gateway as well, so his tech isn't going to be as delayed as long as he doesn't keep canceling the gates in this game. Might be able to get a few supply depots, and already this is looking a lot better for Dune. Doesn't manage to get that pylon started in the main, which is going to make things a little bit harder, but with a little bit of micro here, he might be able to get these cannons up and running. There is already a bunker on the way, though. It is a little bit late, though, and if Dune's able to snipe this SCV, this could be really, really nice for him, and this is the key here. He needs to make sure he kills this SCV. One of them does go down. There is another SCV building now. He needs to focus fire that SCV. Does manage to get the bunker up. Does get it down, but now the bunker's going to be able to be repaired, and this is going to be a lot more difficult for Dune. Would have liked to focus fire that SCV, but unfortunately, the bunker does get up. I mean, being realistic, though, it was going to get up eventually either way. All Fireplay needs to do is keep spamming SCVs in it. He's going to have to pull these 2 SCVs in order to continue healing this, which is going to be a little bit annoying economically, but I don't think economically is really the biggest deal here. Fireplay has not got an orbital command yet or a factory, so far Dune is able to keep him on a relatively low eco. I realize that Fireplay is making sure that he just gets this done, though. But 2 Marines are going to burst their way down the ramp, kill both of the probes, pop their way back up, and continue to harass this. There is a Zealot on the way, but it doesn't quite get there yet. I think Dune is going to need to have to send a few more probes. One of the cannons does go down. A Zealot is on the way here, but now this factory started for Fireplay much later than in the last game. There's already a cybernetics core, though, so this time it's going to be a little bit different as Dune's tech is 1 step ahead of his opponent. If he manages to get this supply depot, this might be a nice little win for him. Fireplay is now supply blocked with nothing building yet, so he's going to be not able to not make anything until he finishes this supply depot. Might be a little bit of panic here from Fireplay. Still does not have an orbital command, even though he has the money for it. He's supply blocked on this SCV, so I think a little bit of a flubbery here from Fireplay. I overall like that he is making sure to keep pressure on this. He's not letting it live for free, but with this Adept shading into the main base, Dune is going to know exactly what's going on. He's going to be able to force these Marines back into the mineral line, which is all that he really needs to do here. It's going to assure that he always has vision on the high ground when he needs it. So I really like this Adept here. The Stargate's on the way, and as soon as it finishes, he'll be building that Fleet Beacon once again and start to whittle him down. And this time it's going to be a lot easier for him because it's much more likely that it's going to get up and running in this game. Even though there are 2 bunkers here, the tank's on the way. This is looking a little bit rough, but that positioning isn't going to be the case. He's not going to be able to shell that cannon as easily here because the Void Ray is going to be out on time. It's going to be able to harass that tank with the help of the shield battery. It might be able to keep him stabilized. So the other supply depot here is getting harassed by this cannon. I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon, but it is forcing this SCV to repair it. Tank does come around. It's going to start shelling this cannon once again, but the Void Ray is almost finished, and he's going to be able to help quite a lot against this. A few shots go down on this pylon, but there is a backup pylon on the way. 2 Adepts now for Dune. Does end up finishing the Shade. Does manage to save it with a little bit of pull micro in the end. The Void Rays might not come out in time, though. Unfortunately, 2 Adepts do shade out. I think this cannon's going to go down. Unfortunately for him, this tank is going to go down very, very quickly here with a overcharge on the Void Ray. A little bit of pull micro. He's going to save it from the Cyclone as well. I think it's too close to call at this stage. There's only 1 Cyclone out for Fireplay. Still doesn't have an orbital command. Not really sure what the reasoning of that would be. I guess he figures he's on 1 base economy. He doesn't want to mine it out super duper quickly anyway. Needs to make sure he has every possible mineral to defend this rush, because this is all that matters. He's never going to lose economically. He's going to lose based on unit control. So this all comes down to unit control. A few finished shades there do mean that Dune is going to lose an Adept when he really, really shouldn't. And he's supply blocked on this Tempest, unfortunately. Not really sure why he's killing this. Guess he's supply blocked, so he wants to make sure he's able to make this Tempest. But with that, he's not actually going to have the pylon, or he's not actually going to be able to get the Tempest started as fast as he would like to anyway. Needs to build a few more batteries here, a little bit closer to the Terran. Terran does have the Cyclone upgrade on the way. He is adding a starport only now, but it's 6 minutes in. There's already Tempest on the way. His starport only now starting, so this, I can't help but think this is a really, really nice situation for Dune. Does pull this Adept back, does waste a little bit of energy on that shield battery, but this is a lot more stable for him at this point. He might start to be able to pick things off here with this Tempest. Still a little bit, has to be very, very careful here. Doesn't want to overextend too much. Does snipe a Marine for his troubles, and now we can start getting that free damage, which is the frustrating thing. Fireplay now supply blocked on the building of this Viking, which is going to be really, really difficult for him. He needs this Viking out. He needs to reach that critical mass of Vikings, and while being supply blocked, only now finishing this depot, he's going to be struggling here. So Fireplay definitely feeling the pressure here. Don't judge him. This is a very, very difficult situation to be in as a Terran. There's so much pressure coming out from these Tempests. There's only 1 base for the Terran, so he's gotten to outmaneuver these Tempests. And as they are whittling away, 1 SCV goes down at a time, 1 little bit of damage on the bunker. He's going to force the repair on this bunker. It's going to let him kill a few more SCVs. There's not as much mining now for his opponent, and now Dune needs to pull these back once these Cyclones do engage them. There is 1 Viking on the way, and there's 1 already built. With 4 Cyclones, he might reach that critical mass sometime soon. He needs to whittle this down, though. There is a Cyclone lock on this cannon, but he manages to chase it away with a little bit of focus fire from the Tempest. A 3rd Tempest now joins. He's going to be able to one-shot Marines here. Does have a Viking in the back just in case. He's repairing frantically this bunker. He knows he needs to keep this alive. It's the line in the sand that stops Dune from completely picking off units in his base. Looks like Fireplay is finally going to commit to this, but with a little pullback from Dune, he's going to be able to survive once again. And now this bunker's about to go down, and these Marines are completely ripe for him to kill. There's no stim on the way. There's no Viking building even, and now they're both down to 21 workers. Finally does have his orbital command here, but now he's down to pretty much pure SCVs, a few Cyclones, and all of these cannons, and I just don't see him losing this anytime soon. A big SCV pull from Fireplay. He's going to try frantically to get this Tempest, but I don't think it's going to happen. Most of the Cyclones go down. There's still only 1 Tempest dying at this point. So many SCVs, and Fireplay GG's out, and it's a victory for Dune. Imagine if this was a fake from Dune. Yeah, that's the metagaming part of this pond. With that metagame, he's just completely reacting to what he's seeing, but I think really what happened there was Fireplay just fell apart a little bit. He didn't get his orbital. He didn't get anything on time. Like, don't know. Like, he's a good player, obviously, but he definitely choked a little bit there. He held so convincingly game 1, but game 2, that really was not looking good. All right, let's eat the last of our cheddars. I've eaten a bunch of rubbish food now and had a beer. So now I have calories at least to keep going. I'm so hungry. So hungry. Guys, can we just talk about how amazing Dune is? He played against a Terran, and I said this was impossible. I said it was impossible. I was like, if the Terran metagames you and he's a good Terran. But Dune made it happen, man. It's the amount of pressure he puts on. He makes it happen. He makes him screw up. All right, see you later, Mike. It was good seeing you, buddy. I think Walker's playing. It's Gorth, right? I'm trying to think of the most stereotypical Russian food. Is that how you spell it? Borscht? Alright, I'm gonna open this door while I wait. Guys, I'm sorry for the unprofessional cast. I'm just a little... I've just been streaming for 5 hours and I'm kind of just relaxed. So, I don't know if you guys like this. Let me know if you like this more or less. I feel like it's not... Oh my god. Kappa Pride has subscribed at tier 1. Hell yeah, dude. Welcome back to the Dane Templar, only says Kappa Pride. I don't know if you're a bot or what, but you're a legend. 3 months of Dane. 3 months of rainbows in my chat. It makes me so happy, dude. I want everyone to know about our pride on this channel. Gorth is still not here. This is a little awkward, guys. It's a little awkward. Alright, let's play some Pictionary, guys. You guys are going to be 2 minutes behind, so that'll give me lots of time to build it. Just started typing clan. Alright, Pictionary, alright? You guys probably can't see this. Oh, he's here. All right, never mind. No Pictionary for you. Maybe next time. All right, guys, we have potentially our final game here. We're down 3-1 against Exode. Let's see if we can reverse sweep them here. We've already started the reverse sweep. We're one game away from being eliminated in this series. But we've got the man himself. Unfortunately, another Terran versus Terran. Our players are all weak to Terrans, unfortunately. And Gorthauer, not a fan of TVT, but we'll have to see if he can do it in this game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Danecast. This time, we've got a very special game. We are down 3-1 in this best of 7 in this clan war between the Drunken Outlaws and Team Exode. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have playing for the Drunken Outlaws. In the orange, playing Terran, he is the scary Russian Cyclone Man, Gorthauer. And his opponent in the top left-hand corner, also playing Terran in the teal, he is going to be Walker. Texas Ranger? Probably not. Already from Gorthauer, we can see he's sending out some SCVs very, very early. Lobluck's leaving once again to make sure that he's not going to be lagging anyone out. It's going to be a cheese from Gorthauer. This is not unexpected considering he is not a fan of TVT. He's a Cyclone man. He likes making Cyclones. He makes them in TVT, he makes them in TVZ, he makes them in TVP. But in TVT, they just aren't very good. They're just terrible units once they get a tank out. So Gorthauer prefers to cheese as often as possible in TVT, and he's very, very good at it. Very, very good micro from him. He's only got one gas, he's only got one D+, it's going to be very obvious, but his opponent is playing relatively safe here, going for a double gas opening. Not sure if he knows Gorth's tendency, because if you look in his latter games, he's going to be playing pretty straight up, but it's if he plays TVT in a clan war, he's going to go on and he's going to cheese you. He's already got 2 barracks. I don't know what version he's going for. I suspect it's going to be double Marauder. This is what he normally does in this matchup. He goes for double Marauders, makes magic happen against just about everyone. The Reaper already from Walker is on the way. He's going to be scouting the close by air positions here at the 3rd and the 4th to make sure there's no bunker, or there's no barracks building over there for Reapers, but it's not going to be Reapers. It's going to be in the opposite direction you might expect. With double tech labs here, it's a very committed attack from Gorthauer. Doesn't even have an orbital command building, where his opponent's is already just about built. So Walker is going to need to either blind counter this or scout early on, but he doesn't have a scout on the way. He's expecting a standard TVT at this stage. He is scouting with the Reaper. This is going to be his first scout in this game. Not going to bother with the SCV scout, which is going to leave Gorthauer with a big opportunity to do some damage here. He has a Marauder built already. His concussive shells are 75% to completion. This Reaper is staying pretty much at home, wants to make sure he is playing as safe as possible. Ironically, it's not going to be safe because he's not going to scout what Gorthauer is doing. So unfortunately for him, this is exactly what Gorthauer wants in this game. So this is looking very, very good already. Gorthauer moving out with his 2 Marauders, 2 SCVs, concussive shells is finished. And he's making more Marauders back at the proxy. So he's going to go up the ramp here. And this is the countdown for Walker seeing it and knowing what he's in for. It's 3, 2, 1. Does realize it now. He is going to be blocking off this ramp. 2 SCVs are going to go down, but Walker needs to build a bunker as soon as humanly possible. A little bit of micro there from Gorth. Now, a bunker, maybe build it in the back. No, it's going to be a supply depot, realizing that's what he needs to do. So a mine is coming out for our other Terran player here. Will he be able to get the damage done that he needs with it? A little bit of kiting happening for Gorthauer, and the mine needs to burrow, but I don't know if Gorth doesn't have a scan, so he's going to need to bait this out and avoid it as much as possible. A drop on the other supply depot is going to lead to some opportunity here, but another Marauder is on the way. It's going to be able to pick off this Hellion. I can't help but feel this is pretty much a build order loss at this stage, considering that there's no scout from our other Terran player here. And now the Marauders are getting cornered into the mineral line. He is going to get a Widow Mine go off and do damage on all 3 of these Marauders, but there's just no units left for Walker. And now the Liberator comes out, joins the fight. Everything's being pulled. Another Widow Mine in the main is going to lead to some damage here. Now Gorthauer's original few Marauders are getting stuck in the back there. There is a Liberator, which could stabilize things a lot. But as long as Gorthauer avoids this, he's going to keep the pressure on these supply depots, stop the production, and keep killing these SCVs. Quite a few SCVs going down. Another Marine pops out with a Hellion, but the Hellion is obviously not what you need here. Gorthauer knows he can win here. He's got hold position. It's a GG from Walker, and now it's going to be 3-2 to the Drunken Outlaws. Well, no, 3-2 to Exode, but, you know, 2 of the Drunken Outlaws. Nice play, nice play. They're going to think we're all cheesers. They got the 2 cheesiest situations on the Outlaws. We're almost all macro players, but Dune is a cheeser. I'll admit that. And Gorthauer cheeses in PvP, or in TVT, so that's that. Guys, why is it saying I have 0 subscribers? The Dark Templar are 0 strong. That is bullcrap, guys. You know that's bullcrap. We've got 35. We've got 35. I'm annoyed. All right. You want to say I'm 0 strong? We're going to go to this then. The Dane Templar are 35 strong. You jerk. Oh, maybe we have 30 and it's broken? I don't know. What MMR is Walker? You got stoned there. That's just a build order loss, though. There's really not much you can say. Walker played it as good as you can, considering he didn't scout. But, yeah, no. Marauders pop into your base. You're done, bud. You're done. Yeah, I guess it's only... Walker's the caster as well, isn't he? So this is going to be everyone. They're all ready to go. Excuse me. All right, guys, we have potentially the last game. Once again, we've been reverse sweeping. We're up now. Well, we're down 3-2. We'll have to see if we're able to equalize things, and then there would be an ace match. All right, let's get this going. Da-da. Shift 3, Control Shift 7. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to potentially the last game, or the second last game, of the clan war between the Drunken Outlaws and Exode. Once again, your Terran hero, Scary Russian Cycloman, in the top right-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE. He is Gorthauer. And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner, in the red, playing Terran as well. He is up 3-2 for his team. He is Walker. Now, obviously, if you're down a game against an opponent, it usually feels bad. It's a little bit scary. You want to equalize things. But going down that way, I think if it was a macro game, you'd be feeling a little bit scared. But because Gorthauer just cheesed them out, it was basically a build order win for Gorthauer. I think Walker's not going to be feeling too bad about this, but it's not going to be the same build from Gorthauer 2 games in a row. And Walker has learned his lesson. He's going to SCV scout right after his first barracks, realizing, okay, this is my clan's life on the line here. I need to make sure that I'm scouting this Scary Russian Cyclone Man, because he's also Scary Russian Cheese Man when the mood strikes. So Walker's going to scout fairly early on. Gorthauer looking to do a double refinery build here himself, as is his opponent. So both these players looking very mirrored at this point. Gorthauer, I know in this matchup sometimes, he won't play bio most of the time, but what he will do sometimes is go for a one base all-in with very fast Marine, Tank, and Viking. So that's, if I had to put my money on it, that's what I would guess he's going to do in this particular game. His opponents doesn't know about this, I presume. I mean, Gorthauer completely caught him off guard, so I'm guessing they didn't do too much research on him. Even though that's what he does in every single clan war, I'm guessing they just didn't research him, because that would basically give away the ghost there. That would basically give away the information that you needed. So Gorthauer's going to be building a very fast refinery here, reactor on this barracks. He's going to be turtling up here and hoping to defend whatever kind of Reaper pressure his opponent puts on him. It'll probably just be Reapers and Hellions, and Gorth is going to try and stabilize. Does have a nice positioning on his factory here, so he's not going to be able to be scouted by anyone just popping up the ramp. But if the Reapers get in, they might be able to see what this is happening. And I think if you know about this, it's pretty easy to defend. The advantage for Gorth is that he's going to be investing all his resources into a very early attack with very strong units. So he's got a tech lab on the factory. He's going to make tanks out of that. He's going to make Vikings here. And this is kind of your mid-game composition for Terran, not your early game. So Gorthauer is going to be skipping this Reaper Hellion phase and hoping to go straight into tanks and catch his opponent off guard before he has tanks of his own. Now, Walker doesn't know about this. He's not really scouting Gorth all that much. I think he's probably thinking that he's in a macro game here, which again is potentially going to be his downfall here, as Gorthauer is not going to play a macro game unless he, well, even if he had a gun to his head, I don't think he'd play a macro game of TVT. He would definitely just be wanting to cheese it out. He does not want to be playing a standard bio game because he doesn't feel confident in his bios. It's going to be a reactor on this starport, which will allow him to make 2 Vikings at a time, which will allow him to spend the amount of gas he's got. So he's going to make another tank here. He's going to be able to make 2 Vikings at a time once this is done, and he's making lots of Marines. This is going to be a very powerful mix here. Walker's going to be looking to expand here off of his Reapers and Hellions. No move out yet for Walker. Not really sure what he's expecting from Gorthauer at this point, but he does not have anything that deals with this mix from Gorthauer. It's going to be this loaded up medevac once again. This might be a little bit scary for Gorth. Depends on if he moves out before this happens or not. But with what I suspect are going to be 2 Vikings, a tank sieged up, and a handful of Marines here, this is going to be very scary for Walker to deal with. I think what Walker is expecting here is for Gorth to be macroing on 2 bases here, and for him to need to equalize the damage here, but it's going to be nothing of the sort. But unfortunately, this move up for Gorthauer is going to make things a little bit awkward for him. He doesn't have anything in the main to deal with this. He's going to have to either pull back or pull everything or go for basically the base trade here. So many SCVs could go down here. Gorthauer is finally retreating into his main base here. He does have a few Vikings popping out. He's lost quite a few workers here, but I don't think it's enough workers to really matter in this game, to be honest. Walker does go back in with a Reaper to try and get a few more SCV kills. Does get 1 or 2 with that Reaper. Gorthauer now down to 19 SCVs, but I don't think he cares. He has this very scary army moving out on the map. These 2 Vikings are going to be floating around trying to snipe this medevac so it doesn't let him get back in the base. He does get the kill on that. Gorthauer looking to sandwich these Hellions. Does catch them out in the middle of nowhere. Gets 2 Hellions down, and now everything gets cleaned up for his opponent. He is making a tank frantically, does have 2 Marines and a Cyclone, but this is a very, very nice timing for Gorthauer. He's got 3 Vikings on the way, and he's got 2 in the, sorry, he's got 3 Vikings, and he's got 2 there. A Liberator from Walker does get chased away again by these Vikings. Gorthauer playing very defensively with these Vikings, knows that he's vulnerable back home, and this is what's going to allow him to engage back at home and stay safe against the shenanigans of his opponent. But he is going to split these Vikings now to make sure, and he does catch the Liberator out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, and my dinner is here. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Ah, thank you. All right, let's see how this is happening, guys. I'm sorry about that. My dinner came mid-game. Very kind of my wife. Gorthauer pushing up with these tanks. Doesn't have his Vikings here just yet. Does have one joining. Gorthauer definitely being careful here with the sieging of his tanks. Knows he's got an advantage here. He's all in here. He needs to make sure he doesn't lose anything. Does pop one of the tanks of his opponent. This is looking pretty scary. Can potentially leapfrog things up. The tanks are shelling the command center now for Gorthauer. He is gradually leapfrogging his tanks up. Does have the advantage of the amount of tanks here. Does have quite a few Marines as well to back this up. So it's up to Walker to decide what he wants to do. His Liberator has been cleaned up in Gorth's main. He does try to drop an auto turret on these tanks, but with the Marines, they're going to clean that up. Absolutely no problem. There's 1 tank left with Walker, but that's all he's got left, and a few Marines. He is frantically trying to get his upgrades, trying to make everything happen back in his base, but and staying calm and macroing here is definitely his best bet. But unfortunately, Gorth is taking a very aggressive position. Both of the tanks of Walker do go down, and I think Gorth has done it. The SCV pull is going to be on all the tanks, and he GG's, and it's a victory for Gorthauer. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now it's 3-3. Oh. All right, guys, I got my dinner. I need to eat it. I'm so hungry. It's a delicious salmon dinner. Absolutely delicious. I'm gonna let you guys see me eat it. Why not? Probably just gonna take a few bites here. Stabilize my economy. I didn't realize how hard it is to eat when you're on stream. Alright, I'm gonna do the be right back, guys, so I can eat in peace. It won't be long now, don't worry. We've got game 7 coming up. Welcome back, guys. Not too sure what's going on here. It's gone to an ace match now because it's 3-3, and none of our players are responding. So I don't really know what to say here. There's no, our guys are AFK. I guess they just thought it was over. They didn't have a lot of faith in Gorthauer, I guess. Wolfshaw surprise pick. I don't think we can we actually do that? Are we allowed to do that? So Wolfshaw's going to be going in against a 47-80 Terran. But Wolfshaw, I do give more money on Wolfshaw. I do put my money on Wolfshaw here. More than I would Gorthauer. Because Gorthauer has already shown his 2 TVT builds. Dune has shown that he's a cannon rusher. And it's a PVT, so it would be better to be Wolfshaw than anyone else. I didn't know we were allowed to do this. Alright, let's go. They're done waiting. They didn't even wait for me. Alright, guys. We've got the last game now between Exode and the Drunken Outlaws. Let's see if Wolfshaw, our surprise pick as our ace player, is able to close this out. The pressure is on, but it's not, I mean, not as much on Wolfshaw. He wasn't in the lineup to begin with, and he's playing against a pretty good Terran here, so I wouldn't be too crazy, but Wolfshaw has shown in the past he's able to take down players that are a lot better than him if he manages to get into a macro game, and these players look like they're very macro focused, so we'll have to see if Wolfshaw is able to do the multitasking that he needs to split against those Terran armies and take home the W for the Drunken Outlaws. All right. In the bottom left-hand corner, let's do one of these first of all. Of Golden Wall LE, the surprise ace pick for the Drunken Outlaws. He's the blue Protoss. He's known as Wolfshaw. And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner playing Terran, and he is red. He is playing for Team Exode. Looking to close this one out after being up many games, after being up 3-0. He doesn't want to get reverse swept. He is Chrising. Can't help but feel Chrising's got to be a little frustrated here, considering he 2-0'd and then his teammates managed to get reverse swept all the way back. Now he's going to pick up the slack. He's going to be the ace match. He's going to play against a Protoss who hasn't played yet in this game. I hope that they don't get annoyed at this. I guess this is within the rules. We're allowed to pick someone else. I think Wolfshaw's on the lineup, so it's not a problem. He just didn't play earlier, so he just happened to be online. So Wolfshaw's going to step in and try and get the job done for the Drunken Outlaws. SCV and Probe do meet in the middle of the map. Go for a little bit of a high five. No social distancing for these two. They're both going to be looking to see what their opponents are doing. Chrising is not going for the wall off here, interestingly enough. Wolfshaw is going for a very economic 1-gate expand, while his opponent also going for a Reaper expand as well. So both players here looking to be very economically focused. Looks like we're not going to see a cheese game here, which is going to be a nice answer for Wolfshaw. I think Wolfshaw's going to be very happy about this, to see that actually he's got a macro game in front of him. He can just focus on playing the game that he knows how to, trying to get his build up and running. It's going to be a little bit annoying for him, I think, to deal with this SCV dropping the engineering bay at his natural expansion. He might be able to mine out his rocks and deal with this, but ultimately it's going to have to be a zealot chronoed out from Wolfshaw to deal with this, because he went for the core first and because his opponent blocked him. It's going to be very annoying, but it looks like Wolfshaw knows that he can do the same thing to his opponent as well. Would like to see him just kill this SCV. He doesn't really need to path it here. This SCV already very low. The Reaper is on the way out for Chrising, so a little bit of hesitation from Wolfshaw. Does manage to get the SCV though, so this is going to block the expansion just a little bit. Nice cancel at the last second on this engineering base, so it's going to be almost completely built here for Chrising. So this is going to mean that he gets his command center up before Wolfshaw does, but he's already got a stalker on the way, and he could potentially put some pressure on this base from the Terran if he manages to successfully kill this engineering base. It's going to be very annoying for Wolfshaw. He's going to send in the probe once again. With the second wall off though, the factory on the way, it looks like Wolfshaw is just in general getting the worst of this interaction. He needs to make sure that this Zealot is DPSing down this engineering bay. Not really sure he'd be chasing that. Twilight Council does go down, and since the Reaper is gone, Wolfshot could look to do a little bit of pressure with these units. Taking the third base at the gold as well is Wolfshot. A nice play, nice choice from him. It will mean that he is vulnerable to attacks from the Terran, but I think he realizes that he needs to take some kind of advantage in this game because he's down economically right at the get-go here. So it could be a good situation. He's going to be going for Blink, which will give him that extra mobility between the gold bases here. And Wolfshot's going to move out with his 2 Stalkers and Zealot to potentially do some pressure. There's only 1 Marine here. There is a Reactor on this barrack, so now he's going to be able to make 2 Marines at a time, but he is a little bit low in the defense department. Making Widow Mines, probably looking to go for a Widow Mine drop here. The Widow Mines in this patch, remember, being a little bit stronger. If you have an armory, they will get that invisibility by default, but so far Kreising's not choosing to go for an armory in this game, which is going to mean that his Widow Mines are not invisible when they get dropped, so they're going to be a little bit easier for Wolfshot to clean up, especially considering he's not going for a robotics bay in this game. He's just going for gateway units and blink very, very quickly. Could potentially build a robo soon here. Would like to see him get a robotics facility just for the utility there, adding a couple of gateways at his third base, but I don't think his opponent even knows about this yet. He's probably just assuming he's taking a late base, so he's going to think that he's ahead in this game. But with the saturation of Wolfshot very early here, he's actually going to get a nice economic lead here. Even though he's not actually mining more than his Terran opponent because of those mules, it's going to allow him to catapult into this faster third base and potentially get a lot of Stalkers warped in, or potentially Zealots. A lot of options here. Does drop his robotics facility in his main base, so he's onto the 3-gate robo and blink build. If he adds another gateway, he could be doing the parting style pressure into the main base, but there is a Widow Mine drop coming out for Kreising, and Wolfshot has nothing in position other than a single Stalker. Does warp in a second one here. A little bit of Sixth Sense here from Wolfshot, realizing that this is an option. You have to see if Kreising decides to go for the main base or for the natural. And Armory is down for Kreising in good time, so it's going to be very annoying for Wolfshot to deal with this. This is the new patch. I'm not sure how much experience Wolfshot has with this particular build. He doesn't have his robotics facility built just yet. It is only now finishing, chronoing out an observer very, very quickly here. It's going to give him the tools he needs. There are drilling claws on these Widow Mines, but with the pull from Wolfshot, he's only going to lose a few probes at the beginning. The observer is on the way. So far, so good from Wolfshot. A big blink on the medevac does kill everything without losing almost any probes. Wolfshot looking to be absolutely in a great position here. He's mining from his third base, and his opponent still does not know about this. He does do a scan at this gold base, realizes now he's in a little bit of trouble, as Wolfshot is now on 5 gateways and has blink and charge, well, not charge on the way, but he has a warp prism and 5 gateways, so he's actually going to be able to, actually 6 gateways. It's going to be a very committed blink attack here. 3 plus 4 is a 7-gate blink attack. Wolfshot committing absolutely everything to this attack. There's no tanks in the main base for Kreising. He's moving everything back, realizing this is a very dangerous situation for him with that warp prism coming out, and the power of those gold minerals is going to mean Wolfshot can keep warping in so many Stalkers off of those 7 gateways. Everything goes into the main base of Kreising, but it looks like Wolfshot is going to be going for the natural expansion. There's nothing here for Kreising to deal with this. As long as Wolfshot commits to this frontal attack, he should be absolutely fine. He spots with the observer. There's nothing here, and Kreising is feeling very, very delicate right now. 2 tanks not even sieged up in the main base. Tries to chase away this observer, but a big blink from Wolfshot is going to mean that this Raven goes down. The Wolfshot's moving in on the natural expansion. Everything's being pulled down for Kreising, but I think Wolfshot smells blood here. With another warp in, he might be able to warp in, or he might be able to dive on these tanks, but there are now 3 tanks for Kreising. No stim just yet, though. It's only just started. A big scan from Kreising is going to mean that the observer goes down. Now Wolfshot's backing off. He wants to make sure he gets the single tank and then beats the bunker. Now there's only 2 tanks, but they're both in the main base. Wolfshot's doing tons of damage here. Nice commitment from Wolfshot, not overextending into the second tank. Needs to wait for another warp and maybe blink into the second one as well. But he's got to be very careful here not to blink between those 2 tanks. He doesn't want to be losing all of his Stalkers in only a few hits, but there's no mining for Kreising now. Wolfshot's looking to be very aggressive here off of this 2-base aggression. The SCVs go back to mine. There's still no stim. Tank takes a little bit of a more aggressive spot, but there's only a few Marines here, so he might not be able to stop this warp prism from going in. Might be a big blink from Wolfshot. Kills one of the other tanks. There's only 1 tank left for Kreising. A force field from Wolfshot is going to stop these SCVs from closing the distance, and now Wolfshot is just killing fish in a barrel here. Nice picks from Wolfshot. All 3 tanks do go down, and now Kreising is absolutely in dire straits. He says this map, and it's a game for Wolfshot. All right, guys, so that is 4-3 for the Drunken Outlaws. A successful reverse sweep for the dough. I'm so proud of our men. I'm so proud of them. They really pull it out on this one. So for those of you who missed it, it was a very surprising result because I came in when we were already down 1. We lost 2, so we went down to 3. We were on match point, and with the Dune lost his game, but then he won a second one somehow, amazingly, in a PVT where he's cannon rushing. His opponent knows he's cannon rushing. He managed to pull it out, so really, really impressed with Dune's play there. Gorthauer managed to make both of his TVT cheeses work, and then he was able to, and then we had Wolfshot come in as the ace player, and he won in a very, very nicely played PVT 7-gate blink all-in. So really, really well played from Wolfshot. Nice picking off of the tanks there. Overwhelming amount of power. Well played to Wolfshot, and well played to the rest of our guys as well. And that's going to be it, guys. I've been streaming now for, let's see, it doesn't even say. I've been streaming for ages now, okay? It's been ages. I'm tired. I cried, I laughed, I've lost 10 pounds, I've eaten a bunch of crap, and I think I've probably missed some important things out in my real life here. So I need to say goodbye to you now. Thank you very much for checking out this Clan War, guys. I'm glad everyone was here to enjoy it, and I'm glad that the Drunken Outlaws have shown that we have a strong semi-pro team as well. So nicely played to our guys. Really proud of you, and I look forward to seeing your games next time.